Hello everyone. Today I'm going to tie the baby perch, a pattern I designed for trophy smallmouth bass. It's an excellent fly for clear water conditions with its lifelike action. The hook I'm using is a Kamasan B940, size 1/0. The thread for the first part of the fly is the Semperfli Nano Silk 12/0 white. A very strong, thin thread. The weight is lead wire, 0.025 diameter. Start the 12/0 thread at the point where the head meets the wing and trim the tag. Wrap the thread along the straight portion of the hook for a base, even with the barb, and bring it back to the start. Next, take the lead wire, fold it in half, and secure it from underneath along the threaded portion of the hook parallel to the hook shank, and add head cement. Use your index finger as a guide while wrapping. Once dry, flatten with pliers, trim the excess and build up the thread at whip finish and move it aside. Make at least 2 passes back and forth to secure the lead wire. Whip finish at the base of the lead wire. Next, start the Nano Silk 18/0 white. Start the thread and trim the tag. Add a small orange flat braid at the start and secure along the threaded area. Next, split the thread, wax, and add yellow ice dub loosely. Double over the thread and add the dubbing twister and spin to secure the dubbing. Make sure to spin it good so the fibers get locked in. Attach the hackle plier and brush out the dubbing. Wrap forward edge to edge, pulling the fibers back with your fingers along the threaded area to the start. Secure by the thread on the bare portion of the hook and brush out the dubbing. Next, take a section of dyed yellow with black bars rabbit strip and place it on top of the hook to measure. You want the length of the wing twice the length of the dubbed area. Trim the hide flush with the fur. Then trim the hide on a taper. Make sure to keep the fur to one side of the hide before you trim. Remove the excess fur and trim the thickness of the hide using curved scissors. I find the curved scissors the best tool for this step. Secure the tip of the wing in front of the dubbing, whip finish, and trim. Next, move the orange flat braid out of the way, pull the rabbit strip tight over the dub body, and separate the rabbit fur even with the 12/0 thread. The tricky part for this step is the full hand whip finish. Just takes practice. Secure the thread around the hide and the bare hook, whip finish, trim, and add head cement to the wrap. Move the orange flat braid off to the side and brush out the fur and the dubbing. Start the Semperfli Nano Silk 18/0 thread in front of the wing and trim the tag. Wrap the orange flat braid forward on a slight angle, evenly spaced between the dubbing and the rabbit fur, using a bodkin to separate the fibers. I find this step more for effect. The real strength comes from securing the wing with the thread. Secure in front of the wing underneath the hook, trim the excess, build up the thread. Whip finish and brush out the fur and the dubbing. Next, prepare a brown Heron hackle, flatten the stem and fold the hackle. Secure the hackle by the tip, fold the excess over and secure. There is no need for trimming, just add it to the rest of the hackle. Attach a hackle plier and wrap the hackle forward edge to edge. Secure by the stem and trim the excess. Build up the thread over the wraps to secure and whip finish. By wrapping the thread over the wraps, you strengthen the Heron hackle. Next, prepare the olive dyed fox fur. Cut a section about 1 inch long and comb out the fibers. Split the thread, wax, and add the section of fur. Trim the excess fur along the hide and remove the long guard hairs. Spread the fur along the thread, add the dubbing twister, double over the thread and spin to secure the fibers. Thread tension is the key to this step. That's why I use the Semperfli Nano Silk. Brush out the fibers and wrap edge to edge in front of the wing as a collar, going forward towards the eye. Secure by the thread, trim, build up the thread, and brush out the fur. Add the green ice dub shimmer fringe sparsely in front of the collar on top. Remove the very short and long fibers first before you add it. Trim the excess and build up the thread on a taper. Next, take a section of dyed orange rabbit strip and trim a small portion with the hide attached for the throat. Secure underneath the hook, tight to the collar with a soft loop and a cinch wrap. Trim the excess and build up the thread into a taper. The taper is important. It makes it easier to add the yarn for the head. For the gills, secure 2 dyed olive grizzly hackle tips on each side, left and right by the stem, and trim the excess. Stack one feather on top of the other so they're concave with the tips even. The gills are about half the length of the dub body. Next, take a piece of lead wire and secure it around the gills and the collar to keep them out of the way. Add the Beige Glo-Bug yarn for the head. Cut out 3 segments and split each segment into 4 pieces. Tie in the first 2 pieces on each side of the head, left and right. Then tie 2 pieces for the top and bottom on the same wrap and secure. Pull all the fibers back, secure the thread in front of the yarn, and repeat this step right to the eye. Firm finger pressure is needed to keep the fibers in place. Use a hair packer to compress the yarn and clear the eye. Secure with finish trim and add head cement. Next, take a bodkin and separate the yarn away from the rest of the fly. Use a comb to separate the fibers. A steel pet flea comb is ideal for this step. Comb out the yarn so the fibers are at a right angle to the hook. Use scissors with a long blade to trim the sides flat, left and right of the head. Then use curved scissors to trim the top and bottom into a taper. By combing out the yarn like that, the fibers are denser, which makes it easier to cut. Next, use a black marker to color the top of the head halfway down the sides. Remove the lead wire and add 5-minute epoxy in the middle of each side of the head and add silver 5mm 3D eyes. And this is the baby perch, one of the flies in the baby series. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit the like button to see more fly tying videos.